Hey up and welcome back to Matt's Mindful Meals. I've had a few weeks off because I've had loads and loads of work on. Anyway, I'm back to it now. So today I'm going to get myself out over to the lake, which is over in that direction, and I'm going to try and show you how to do a cheat version of kedgeree. Anyway, I'll see you when I get there. So as you can see, I've arrived, so it's time to get set up. So what I'm cooking today is kedgeree. Now it's an old British dish that was developed in India, and it's a rice dish. So as I've said before, sometimes dishes are better if you have pre-cooked rice. So I had quite a lot of rice left over from last night's curry on purpose so I could come out and do this video. So as I say, it's going to be the simplified version. So if you want to make it a little bit more luxurious, you can do, but add more things to it. But this is going to be a really simple version where I am going to add two of my favourite things right at the very end. So the main ingredients you'll need for this is, traditionally it's smoked haddock, but you can use other fish, but the traditional way is having smoked haddock in there. Now I'm going to use just bog standard medium curry powder. Nothing fancy, but as I said, if you want to do the fancy version, you can make your own masala from anywhere you want to. An onion, and half an onion I found in the fridge this morning. Some cream to make it a little bit more luxurious. Chopped parsley. Sultanas. And then my favourite bit for the very end, some Mr. Naga pickle. A little bit of oil to get it off. Oh, and I almost forgot one of the most important ingredients for this. Eggs. Anyway, let's crack on and get started. Being as I'm cooking with mess today, it's not going to be the fastest thing. So the thing that's going to take the longest is to boil the eggs. So I'll get them on first. So while the eggs are boiling, it's time to chop up the onions. For this I'm using the Firebox folding knife. It's the best chef's knife I've ever come across for camping. Folds up really small and it's razor sharp. And apart from chopping up the parsley a little bit later, that's all the chopping you've got to do today. So the eggs are boiling in my little titanium pot on top of my titanium Firebox Nano, which I really love. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to light the Scout now, and then I'm going to start poaching the haddock that we've got in there. So inside both the Nano and inside this Scout, I'm using a standard Trangia burner, which is full of bioethanol. So I'll get this lit. So that's lit. So the next thing I need to do is I'll open up my haddock. Which is sometimes easier said than done. Okay, not too bad. So what we want to do today is poach this haddock. So I'll pop the pan on, poach it in milk rather than water. And the milk will come in handy a little bit later because it absorbs some of the flavour of the fish. Save some for your coffee. So it's absorbed some of the flavour of the fish, as I've said, and it's used to reheat the rice. So that's on its way. So I'll take the fish out and I'm going to leave the skin on. And you might think I've not got loads and loads of milk in there. You don't need to have it submerged in the milk, because what I'm going to do, we're going to pop on the other pan. So it's going to help it poach inside there. So it's a double firebox day today. I'm using the Ti Nano to boil my eggs inside my little titanium mug. And then I'm using my 2 fry pans, one on top of the other, which is going to be poaching my haddock. And that's in the Firebox Scout. There's a sale on at FIREBOX-STOVE at the moment, so I'm going to get involved with that by the end of the month, so check that out. I'll probably put a link in the end of the video if I remember. So that eggs have been boiling now for 3 minutes, so I'm going to take them off. Now, without burning my hands. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the water that I've done to make some coffee. You might think that's disgusting, but you can't tell. So these handles on the titanium cup do cool down quite quickly. We all best give them a couple of minutes or so. So this is now up to temperature, and you can see that the steam's starting to drip out, so it's definitely poaching. Still a bit warm. Anyway, needs must. So this is my mini little AeroPress. I've had it quite a while, but I tend to, recently anyway, I've been using a lot more instant coffees when I've been out camping. When I'm at home, I don't use instant coffee at all. But when I'm out doing cooking things, it's sometimes just as easy. But today I thought, you know what, Matt? You deserve a proper coffee. So, here's my milk that I bought earlier on. Pop that in there. Anyway, I'll sort myself out and I'll bring you back when the fish is finished poaching. So the fish is finished poaching now, it's cooked all the way through. So I'm going to take it off the heat and let it cool down, and then I can introduce it a little bit later. So you want to just bring the fish out of here now. And put it to one side. And we'll come back to that later. Now I'm going to use this pan to fry the onions and get the curry powder going. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of that milk back in with the fish. Not too much, just enough so that you can use it to warm the rice through. so you can steam the rice. So as you can see, I've got my frying pan on now and I'm warming the oil up. So all I'm going to do to that now is add in the onions. Because what you want to do with the onions, you just want to soften them off. And as well as the onion, in fact, I can do it now. Add in some sultanas. There's too many here, so I would probably, for me realistically, probably about half of that small tub, because they're not everybody's favourites, but I think they add a nice little bit of sweetness to it. So the next thing we're going to add, now remember this is a simplified version, so you're not going to put ground coriander in, ground ginger, ground cardamom. No, you don't have to worry about that with this simple version. Just get some cheap curry powder from your local supermarket. And if you can open it, put some of that in. Not tough enough for this. There we go. So with this, probably about 2 teaspoons for now, but you can check it and see what it's like a little bit later. So I'm going to roughly guess what 2 teaspoons are. I think that's about right. So I need to cook this through. So when you think the onions are nice and soft and you can see through them so they've gone translucent, that's the time to add the rice. It's time to add the rice. So this is basmati rice that I boiled last night. Hidden a chilli in there for later. But inside this there's a couple of curry leaves that I use when I boil rice when I'm making a curry at night time for the family. So what I'll do, I'll just add this rice in together. It's nice and plump. But in order to add some moisture in there, we need a little bit of that milk that I saved over from when I was poaching the fish earlier on. So hopefully without losing this fish into the pan, add the milk in there. Put the fish to one side. Stir this through. So hopefully this white rice will now go a golden yellow once it's absorbed all of the flavours from the onions. So you need to stir it through. Now the milk, remember, is to stop it catching on the bottom and to help to warm the rice through, because you really need to make sure that if you've got cold rice that you warm it through properly. So as you can see now, I've incorporated all of the flavour from the spice powder, which is the curry powder, the fried onions and the sultanas. So we'll let that warm through a little bit more. A couple of more things to do. So remember the eggs from the beginning? You need to get the shells off the eggs. So that's incorporating all the flavour now. Time to crack the eggs. Tell you what, I'll get my spoon to help me. This is a little bit of a tip, this is. I don't know what's happened. When I was a youngster, I could remember eggs were so easy to peel. Whether they've changed something in the diet of chickens, nowadays, eggs are a little bit harder to peel than they used to be. So I find if I get a spoon and pop it underneath the shell, I can peel them a lot quicker. Now, because I don't want to burn that, I'm going to take it off the heat for a little while. Good catch of that egg, by the way. I'll take that off the heat. And I'll get these eggs peeled. So now we need to slice the eggs up. So I tend to cut them in quarters for this. So now what we need to do is bring the rice back and add these to the rice. It's quite hot. So we're almost done. So we need to arrange these in the pan. You can just hear the rice starting to finish. And now the next thing is to add the flaked fish. So this is where the skin will now come off easily. I like the skin on most fish, and haddock is one of the ones I will eat the skin on. But let's break up these, so you need nice big chunks of fish in this. So that's the haddock on. Now remember I said there's only 2 things you really need to chop up for this? It's the last thing to chop up now. There's a little bit of flat leaf parsley. It wouldn't be the same without flat leaf parsley in there. I'll chop some of that up. Sprinkle a bit of that over the top. And you're all done. Anyway, I'm going to dish this up for myself and then add my final bits of ingredients that I really like. So if you've subscribed to the channel, you'll already know what it is. But if you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing, because I'm going to get out and do more of these like traditional and classic dishes that are so easy to cook in the outdoors. So that's Matt's simple camping kedgeree. So it's time to dish it up for me. So that's plenty for now. So with the addition of some chilli and some little drops of oil from Mr. Nagel's pickle, you only need a few drops of that to completely change the spiciness of the dish. And I really like the parsley. So a little bit more parsley on mine. Time to get eating. You know what? This is absolutely perfect. Tastes great. Got the warm February sun on my face. I know I've been away for a few weeks and I haven't done one, but I've been so busy at work. My head's not been in the right place as I've been tired all the time. But anyway, this has brought me right back to where I should be. So hopefully give it a big like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed before, and we'll get out and we'll do some more of this. Anyway, I've got to eat this, then tidy all up. So take care of yourselves. Ta-ra!